What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, I want to talk about Josh Uche. And this video has been long awaited because Josh Uche has finally been unlocked by the New England Patriots and is playing not only as one of the Patriots' best defensive players, or really one of the Patriots' best players, period, but one of the best edge defenders in the entire National Football League. Now, statistically, right now, Josh Uche is tied for 84th in the NFL with solo tackles with a total of 13. He's tied for 123rd in assisted tackles with 1, but he's top 10 in sacks. He's tied for 9th total in sacks with 12, and he is tied for 9th in forced fumbles with 2. He has an overall PFF grade right now of 89.5, and a run defensive grade of 71.4 with a pass rush grade and elite pass rush grade of 90.2. Now, like I said earlier, this is easily his best season since joining the National Football League and being drafted by the Patriots in 2020. Last year, he only puts up eight total tackles, 1 assisted, 3 sacks, and 0 forced fumbles. He had an overall grade in 2021 of 60.9, a run defensive grade of 32.4, and a pass rush grade of 61.6. In 2020, which was his rookie season, he really didn't do that much better. He had 5 total solo tackles, he had 3 assisted tackles, he had 1 sack and 0 forced fumbles, putting up an overall PFF grade of 77.6, a run defensive grade of 62.5, and a pass rush grade of 75.1. With these statistics, you can clearly see that Josh Uche is clearly taking that third-year leap, and it is a big, drastic leap that really the Patriots genuinely needed after the offseason that they had. 1, letting go of Kyle Van Noy, who played a lot on the edge last year. And 2, with the Patriots just needing to find that utter need of a guy who can play opposite of Matthew Judon, because Matthew Judon going silent the second half of the season in 2021 was in a big part of not having another true edge rusher on the team opposite of him. Because in 2021, you really look at the Patriots' defensive line and you didn't have really any true pass rushers. You know, you had Dietrich Wise, who's always been a good, pretty consistent guy, nothing great, nothing elite. But Wise is also a guy the Patriots use in a lot of different situations and in a lot of places defensively. They don't just place him at the edge, but a lot of times will actually put him on the interior of the defensive line, which still puts the Patriots at a need for somebody on the edge. Because of that, really the Patriots' only true pass rusher outside maybe Christian Barmore, who was getting double, even triple teamed more than any defensive lineman in the entire National Football League last year, it really just left Judon by himself, which at the end of the day, as the season progressed in 2021, offenses started to pick up on that. They started to pick up on these tendencies and realized, hey, all we have to do is double team Matthew Judon. And then really there's no one else outside of that we have to worry about, because these Patriots linebackers are slow. They're not going to catch up to mobile quarterbacks or elusive running backs or more mobile quarterbacks. And New England went into this 2022 season with a lot of questions defensively. What was his defensive line going to look like opposite of Matthew Judon? What was his secondary going to look like with arguably your best secondary piece from 2021 in J.C. Jackson leaving? And how is that going to produce if your defensive line cannot get to him, or get to the quarterback rather? But we've ended up seeing a better defense from the Patriots in 2022 rather than 2021 because of the Patriots' ability on their defensive line. And this is something that the Patriots did early on in the 2000s. New England did not always roll with a, average to maybe just above average defensive line, but with an absolute elite secondary. They used to run on having an elite defensive line from interior guys to edge guys so that their secondary didn't have to cover guys for 4 or 5 plus seconds. The Patriots' ability to not just one rush the passer, but to actually be able to stop the run has made them a lot more dynamic defensively, and a big part of that has been Josh Uche, who Matthew Judon is actually saying himself is becoming arguably the best pass rusher currently on the New England Patriots, not to mention that a fellow pass rusher in the AFC actually compared Josh Uche to Von Miller. And the Patriots defense is the number 1 scoring defense in the entire National Football League. and we have still a top 10 secondary in the National Football League, despite not really having a true number one cornerback because of how elite this defensive line has been and how elite the pressure has been. The Patriots have two guys who are ranked top 10 in sacks and two guys who are ranked top 10 in forced fumbles. Those guys, as you probably could have guessed, are Matthew Judon, who's playing on one edge, and Josh Uche, who's playing on another. And this emergence of Josh Uche did not start randomly. It took him some time. It took him about halfway through this season to start finally making an impact. I mean, Uche did not put up a single sack till week 8 against the Jets. And his usage has only really seen a tad bit of a bump in an increase. Because Uche is still learning. Uche is still not a 3-down defensive lineman. And that's been the big knock on him. That's why the Patriots have tried him at stand-up linebacker, at edge rusher. They've tried him in a multitude of different ways to see where he's best at, because he's not a guy who can effectively stop the run at a consistent level. He's a guy who's going to pin his ears back and go after the quarterback, which, again, in run plays, pinning your ears back to get to the quarterback is not going to be very effective. It's just going to open up running lanes for the running back. But we have seen Josh Uche step up even as a run defender this year. I just think that Bill Belichick, Steve Belichick, and Gerard Mayo, they're all finally letting Josh Uche just do what Josh Uche was always meant to do, what he did so good at Michigan. It's why he was a second-round pick, and that is pin his ears back and just be a pass rusher, okay? He still has a ways to go in stopping the run, but it is progressing. Slowly, but it is progressing. Right now, he's only playing about 45% of the Patriots' defensive snaps on a week-to-week basis. His highest play percentage this entire season was week 14 against the Arizona Cardinals, where he put up a total of 3 sacks by playing a total of 64% of the New England Patriots' defensive snaps with a total of 48. Other than that, as of recently, he's playing 49%, 44%, 43%, while early on in the season, he was playing 28%, 8%, 22%, 37%. So the Patriots alone are getting more production out of their pass rush, getting to the quarterback, and seeing an improvement from this defense in every single phase because of this pass rush, specifically by playing Josh Uche more. Because again, you're not just relying on Matthew Judon to be the guy to finish off sacks and finish off the quarterback. And I think that some Patriots fans have also taken that run. They've taken these last few weeks, really since the bye, which is when Josh Uche has started to emerge as, well, where did Matthew Judon go? Well, keep in mind that only one guy can ultimately sack the quarterback. And with how Josh Uche is played, you can't expect that Matthew Judon is going to be the guy that continuously gets him there. But because of this dynamic duo between Uche and between Judon, they've put each other in a position where one of those guys is more likely to end up getting the sack. Another crazy statistic that I wanted to share with you guys was that since week 5, there is only one qualified player out of 199 total players who is above Josh Uche in pass rush win rate. That one guy who is ahead of Josh Uche in pass rush win rate is Browns defensive lineman Myles Garrett. In fact, from week 8 to week 14, Josh Uche actually put up more sacks than Nick Bosa has. And it really wasn't even that close. Josh Uche had put up 10 sacks throughout that time period, while Nick Bosa had put up 7.5. Now, like I said earlier in this video, there was an AFC defender who said that Josh Uche reminds him of Von Miller. You're probably wondering earlier on in this video, well, Patriots Global, who was that guy? And now I'm going to know if you watched the video through, because I'm about to tell you exactly who that guy is, and that is All-Pro defensive end Cameron Jordan, who spoke out about Josh Uche, saying that he reminds him of Von Miller, who is, for those who don't know, a future Hall of Famer. This is what Cam Jordan had to say. He said, Matt Judon has spoken highly about this guy, and there's a reason why. Josh Uche got this sauce now. He's coming off the edge, and I mean, they were playing the Bills, but he looked like Von Miller from the Bills with that patented ghost move that he has. I mean, Josh Uche comes off the ball, and he's blitzing off the line. He's able to dip his inside shoulder below and the left tackle's targeted punch. Uche is too fast, too athletic. He's able to slip underneath, eliminating that space, and then he brings it back up for a big sack, forced fumble to help his defensive line get it. End quote. There has not been a lot of positives for the New England Patriots for the 2022 season, but one of the biggest positives and one of our only questions that got answered was who's going to play opposite of Matthew Judon and who is going to solidify this defensive line. That guy's Josh Uche. The Patriots found their answer, and the Patriots found their guy. It sucks that it took them till his third year to figure out who that guy was going to be, but fortunately for them, they found out. Now, unfortunately for the New England Patriots, they're going to have to figure out what exactly Josh Uche's future is going to be like for the Patriots. Because although it took him 3 years to finally figure out how they were going to utilize him and to finally get that production out of him, he's going to be a free agent in 2024, essentially meaning that 2023, this upcoming season, is going to be his contract season. And they're going to have to figure out, is this a guy that we can get an extension done with? Do we trade him? Does he walk in free agency? A lot of questions are definitely still to be answered on what New England is going to do with Josh Uche, and a large part of that could go with how does he play next year. Because, again, the NFL is more about what have you done for me now and not what have you once done for me. So if Uche can play in 2023 like he's played this season, then he's going to get a big bag. And is that a bag New England's going to be willing to pay him while they're still paying Matthew Judon, who will be a free agent in 2025, a year later than Josh Uche? But what are your guys' thoughts on Josh Uche as of late, and what do you think the Patriots will end up doing with him? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a big like on this video, guys. It really, really helps me and the channel out, especially with the YouTube algorithm. Tells YouTube, hey, I like this video. Let me go ahead and recommend it to some other football fans. It would mean the world to me. Just helps the channel out, helps these videos do better. Along with, of course, subscribing to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news if you have not already. But other than that, like always, guys, I appreciate you for watching, and go Pats.
In Astroworld.